From Bara Magna, we have the Glatorian legend that is Vastus. The jungle-based Glatorian hails from the village of Tessara, who he willingly protects and is afraid to leave out of guilt. Vastus buries the venom talon, which derives from the talon snake, which is not allowed in the arena, as it is illegal when it paralyzes a foe, and a Thornax launcher at its opposite end. One incredible trait being his meditation, allowing him to sense the air currents of ongoing attackers. Often, he closes his eyes during attacks. Also to protect his village Tessara, especially after being so guilt-ridden after mistakenly killing non-combat Agori during the Core War. Caused a snowslide only to obstruct their passage, but catastrophic is where it all went from there. So I totally get that. According to biosector1.com, a notable piece of dialogue from him is 4-1. Didn't I teach you better than that? It's unfair unless it is 6-1. Really went into the aesthetic and giving him an even stronger character. And that's what Bionicle is. Even though I knew so little about the line in 2009, as it was beyond my budget at that point, just going into the lore of Bara Magna and how LEGO attempted to continue Bionicle beyond that of Matanui, that is just admirable. And the entire year had a backstory of each of the characters. The Agori, the Great Beings, and the Glatorian all serve as a fresh start for the fandom and LEGO itself. He has some of the biggest contrasts of any of the figures, as we have the dark green, which we had introduced in 2004, and of course the light green, which we've had since the beginning. Even with a simplistic color scheme, it doesn't take away from this design. Yeah, we have joints we're familiar with. The whole snake shoulder pads was a whole new aesthetic. Pretty sure it's exclusive to this figure alone. And damn, this Kanohi. Attaches from the skull, or scalp that is. In a way I do prefer the scalp mounted Kanohi. The Thornax still works quite well. And for the action figure game, we have his life counter. Among his strongest aesthetic has to be the coiling tube of the venom, which we've seen the design replicated as early as the Rahi from what I recall. This also served as the oxygen tubes for the Toamari, but of course this has the green interior, which gives it a much more believable look. Even though I'm not a fan of taxidermy and I own a snake of my own, I definitely hope these are not real snakes. But nothing in the BIOS, according to Biosector 1, says anything, so hoping it's just armor, maybe even a form of camouflage. Glatorian is LEGO's take on that of Gladiators. I'm even wearing the appropriate color with this TMNT hoodie. One of the biggest takes I can derive from the final year of Bionicle in 2009 is just how much it improved. So I have Anua here. He has a simple movement, but the biggest change, looking at Vastus here, his head is fully posable, his arms actually have joints while Anua does not. He can't even spin his own head, but it just shows by the end of it, we had fully posable action figures. I never could have expected G1 would lead up to this. You can barely tell they're even the same toy line. But the one thing these two figures alone have in common is the in-depth personality, their backstory, and of course their habitat. Onukoro on Matanui, and Tessara on Bara Magna. As this is my first Glatorian figure, my ultimate takeaway is learning about the lore of Bara Magna the same way I had with Matanui. In a way, I'm rediscovering Bionicle, because I had no clue just how much planning and thought went into 2009 alone. It just gives me a whole respect that LEGO was attempting to revitalize it with a whole new setting and characters. In fact, seems like there was a lot more neutrality between them. Closing out, I'd like to make one comparison in the form of a meme I'm sure you're all familiar with. When I was a kid, Bionicle looked like this. Now they look like this.